Greetings, duelists, and welcome to another video. First, I will have to give a disclaimer because I know that people come into my videos and they always ask about the audio quality. First of all, I want to apologize. I'm probably gonna do this disclaimer every time I make a video now. If I notice that the recording is a little bit botched, I hope that the audio setup that I have does not disrupt you from the purpose behind my videos. I am currently working on it, but right now, all my recording software is not functionable at the moment. I tried everything under the sun to make it work, but I still want to keep making videos, and yeah. I have to give that disclaimer before doing the video, before people keep watching. If you find this a little bit like not to your liking, I suggest either maybe lowering the volume down a little bit, see if it works, and if the mic peak is not good for you, then I apologize for the inconvenience. Without further ado, let's start the video. Greetings, duelists, and welcome to another video. So, we got new support in Terminal World 2. That is the sequel to Terminal World 1, where we had it translated here as a Battles of Legends set. Right now, we had support confirmed for Jurak, Gem Knights, and for Fables. The last team from this set that is receiving support, and we got confirmation of them, is Nekroz. So when it comes to Nekroz, we have to be very, very careful because for those who don't know, back in 2015, Nekroz was a very, very dominant strategy. This deck was basically the Snake Eyes of its era. It was a very, very, very strong deck. It was very beatable back in the day, just like Snake Eyes was, but the power level behind it was so overwhelmingly powerful compared to other decks. And we got stuck with Nekroz for 8 to 9 months as a tier 0 strategy. We're getting close to that record with Snake Eyes. However, in Nekroz's case, it was a little bit different back then. The card quality was in another, like, it was functionable in another like stance, because despite it being tier 0 for like a long time, we did have battle lists one after another that kept checking the deck. Basically, 2015 was the year where Konami was experimenting with the ban list and seeing what exactly does it take to actually cripple down a tier 0 deck without outright killing it. We also had a very similar experiment with Dragon Rulers, but that's another story for another time. Let's go back to Nekroz. So, over the years, Nekroz did receive a few other cards. We received a Reed Bear, which is a monster negation. We received Ariel, which is a monster that can tutor a Nekroz monster, but they are not ritual monsters. We got other tools, like with Dogmatica monsters. The Incantation monsters were really good support for Nekroz as well. Pot of Prosperity was a really good card for them. The Voiceless Voice archetype also has synergy with Nekroz, because Skull Guardian can add Nekroz of Brionac. And Nekroz of Brionac is basically the starter of the entire archetype. Diviner is another card that also functioned for Nekroz. So we also have the Zaborg combo. For those who don't know what the Zaborg combo is, this is a very fragile normal summon. But if this normal summon resolves, you pretty much win the game. especially if you pair it up with the incantation monsters. Like the card value behind this card is incredibly strong, but again, those were all niche strategies back then. So what does Nekroz need right now in order to like contest with the actual format? I think a few of their card qualities is fine. Like for example, Nekroz of Unicorn aged a little bit, but still being an extra floodgate is like a little bit annoying for a couple of archetypes. I think Colossalus having the quick effect to like negate put extra monster on the spot is still really good. This card could be a problem someday. Like Nekroz of Sophia could actually become a hand trap, where essentially as a hand trap, like you could outright just stop your opponent from playing the game, and then just set up for the next turn. But we're not gonna think too far ahead on that. Let's get into the new cards. So let's start with Advanced Swordsman of the Nekroz. So this card has 3 effects. First effect, when this card is normal summon, you can special summon 1 Nekroz monster from your deck except Advance. If you ritual summon exactly 1 Nekroz ritual monster with a card effect that requires the use of monsters, so not Kaleidoscope. This card you control can be used as an entire requirement. If this card is distributed by a card effect, you can add any number of your banished Nekroz cards with different names to your hand. Okay, this is an incredibly strong card. Right off the bat, we've got a really good support card for Nekroz. So let's summarize. This card is essentially tour guide for all your non-ritual Nekroz monsters. So you can special Shurit, you can special Great Sorcerer, you can special summon Exa, you can special summon Ariel, you can special summon Dance Princess. And all these cards are really, they have really good effects on their own. This card can loop you into Banish Nekroz. There's a loop between this card and Exa. Ariel can just add any of the other ones, like if she's distributed. Dance Princess makes it so your opponent cannot respond to your Nekroz spells, very similar to like Super Polymerization. And Shurit, this card was so good, it was so powerful back then, it outright got banned. Like, this card can search you for Brionac if it's distributed, this card can search you for Trishula if it's distributed. This card also passes the entire requirement. Something to note, the entire requirement for the ritual summon, for you to fulfill that, you have to control the monster. It's not like Shurit where you can banish it for Nekroz Mirror and use it as the entire requirement. This card doesn't work like that. Basically, you have to control this card. So that does make that effect a little bit weaker. It also means that if you get Veilered or Impermed on this card, you pretty much lose almost the entire value behind Advance. However, this third effect way more than makes up for it. Like, essentially what this means is your grind game with Nekroz is almost as good as Ritual Beast. And that's a very strong barometer to make, because to this day, I think Ritual Beast has the best grind game in the the best grind game like in the format. So just having a card that can contest that is really strong. This effect also means that Macrocosmos, Dimensional Fissure, Dimension Shifter does not hurt you as much as it would for other decks, like other ritual decks at least. So very strong card. 10 out of 10. They actually nailed it. Let's go with the next one. This is Emilia, Dance Princess of the Nekroz. So now we have two Dance Princesses. Let's read Emilia. If you have a warrior Nekroz monster from your field or your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card's normal special summon, you can add one Nekroz ritual monster or one Nekroz spell card from your deck to your hand. If you ritual summon exactly one Nekroz ritual monster with a card effect that requires the use of monsters, this card you control can be used as the entire requirement. Okay, so essentially Emilia is another copy of Manju, but for specifically Nekroz cards. However, this card is way better than Manju for a couple of reasons. First, it is a Nekroz monster, so it works with all the Nekroz effects. Secondly, this card can be used as an entire tribute, so if you want to summon like the bigger monsters, except Sophia because it requires 3, but anything else, like for example a Reed Bear, like you can just use the Emilia herself as the material for that ritual summon. Another thing that makes Emilia really strong as a monster is now Brionac becomes a starter for half your for an actual ritual summon. Back in the day, Nekroz of Brionac by itself did not do anything. You always needed another monster in order to actually fulfill a ritual summon. Now you can Nekroz of Brionac to add Emilia. Since Nekroz of Brionac is a warrior monster, you can special summon Emilia. Emilia can grab you Clauselus, and Clauselus can grab you a Nekroz Cycle. And you can use Nekroz Cycle to tribute the Emilia, and then resummon that Clauselus or Brionac. That play was not existent like before this. Now it is. Thanks to Brionac. And take note, that's all without your normal summon. So another play that you can do is do that same exact play, but with Brionac, you add Advance special Emilia. Emilia grab Clauselus. Clauselus can send, and not only do you do that, but you also have a rank 4 play between these two monsters, which I will talk about that later as we progress. So another 10 out of 10, really good card for consistency. The third card, Nekroz Divine Mirror. So you can only use the first and second effect of these cards once per turn. During the main phase, ritual summon one Nekroz ritual monster from your hand or management by attributing monsters from your hand or your field, and or sending Nekroz monsters from your extra deck to the graveyard whose total level exceeds main level. During your main phase, you can banish this card and one Nekroz monster to add a Nekroz spell card from your deck to your hand. Okay, so a lot of things to take away from this. Firstly, this is a quick play spell. This being a quick play spell means that you can do this on your opponent's turn. That's specifically the reason why this effect can only be done in the main phase. So we did not have something like this for Nekroz before. Sadly, that does mean we don't get a Nekroz trap card. So Clauselus is not beating the trap card allegations with its effect yet, which is kind of suspicious. But the other really cool thing about this is you can send from your extra deck. So essentially, these Zephyr monsters can be used for your Nekroz material. So there is a world where you can mix Nekroz with the Zephyr and just play Zephyr as an engine for Nekroz, and use those Nekroz monsters that you send just for the material for this. And in Zefraxa's case, this is actually strong because sending Zefraxa from your extra to the graveyard means that you can do its graveyard effect like next turn. Like this does have a requirement from graveyard effect. So again, you have a very strong grind game with this deck. The fact that you can special summon Nekroz from banishment is also really, really strong. So let's say, for example, you're in the mid to late game, you have one of these monsters on the field, it's your opponent's turn, and you have like a Trishula that is banished, or you have a Unicorn that is banished, or you have a Reaper that is banished. You can essentially use the Divine Mirror and just summon that. Or, to make things even worse, let's say you have a Nekroz or Sophia in your banishment, and you have both Zephyra monsters in your extra deck. You can Divine Mirror, send the two Zephyras and another monster in order to summon the Sophia. And for those who don't know, Sophia has a banish nuke effect when she is ritual summoned. And she can also banish from the graveyards. So this card can become a total blowout mid to late game. Prior to the support, Nekroz or Sophia was not really good because it did not have a very good way to getting ritual summoned. Now with the combination of Divine Mirror and the bans, Nekroz or Sophia is actually a lot easier to summon than ever before. So keep a lookout for this card. You could see this card actually resolving someday. Another 10 out of 10. Really, really good card. Let's go with the last card, and it's Zephyra Nekroz of Metaltron. I almost said Zephyra because it is a Pendulum monster. I just got used to the Zephyra's Nekroz monsters. So, let's read the effect. Your Nekroz cards becomes banished face up. If your Nekroz card becomes banished face up, you can target one spell trap on the field, banish it. That's really, really strong. Essentially, as a Pendulum card, this card can serve as a removal, and its condition for its effect is not really that hard. Like, banishing Nekroz cards is easy because of the mirrors. Nekroz Mirror also triggers that. Yeah, really good Pendulum effect. Ritual effect. So you can ritual summon this card, use a Nekroz ritual spell. Must be ritual summon without using level 9 monsters, so essentially it's the same as Trishula and all the other big ritual monsters. You can only use the first effect once per turn. Quick effect, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, banish this card until the end phase, and if you do, banish that target. Any monster destroyed by battle with your Nekroz monster is banished. So, its effect is kinda niche. I don't think this is a very strong boss monster. I think Nekroz of Trishula is as strong as Metaltron. However, just it being a Pendulum monster is a big deal because, again, it means that you can, after you ritual summon this successfully, it goes to your extra deck, and when you use your Divine Mirror, you can send it from your extra deck to just recur from banished. So, yeah, very okay card. I like it. It is a spend on skill 5, so now if you combine this with Zephyra Saber or Surfraxa, you can actually Pendulum summon in this deck, which is not something that was known in Zephyras in the past, but now we do have that mechanic here. So I will say that the Nekroz cards, they're not as strong as the Gemini cards, they're not as strong as the Fabled cards in my opinion. They are stronger than Jurek, I will give it that. However, the design behind the new Nekroz cards leaves a big issue. And you're probably wondering, what do I mean by big issue? What is something that is going to be problematic for Nekroz in the future? Yeah, I have to stop the music for that for this part because what I'm going to say is going to be very like I think people already figured it out by now, but essentially having a lot of level fours and having multiple extenders means that Nekroz is going to be invited to be played with Raziel. And I don't think I need to talk about how strong Raziel is at the moment. I think Raziel is like one of the better decks right now. The fact that we have now an archetype that can work with Raziel without little to no repercussions, and have a really strong grind game, and it has recursion, and it can even stop the mirror match, like with cards like, for example, Sophia. Yeah, I I'd say Necros have a very promising future, but probably as a racial hybrid. And it's only a matter of time until people figure it out. Like, you can just, like, for example, you can advance an Emilia and turn these into dual drive. And dual drive can just detach. And dual drive can just add you two radials and you can get your engine going. Um, Adding to all of that, like, you have um, none of these Necros cards lock you into anything. They're not like the Gem Knights or the direct cards. So yeah, this could be our format. Don't be surprised if you see Radial Necros actually be a thing. But yeah, that's it from me. I hope you found this informative to your liking understanding. Necros was a tier 0 deck back in its era. I don't think this deck is going to be tier 0 ever again. However, like, it is very, very promising for Necros to actually see competitive play in it. And it, like I said earlier, like, if you see them paired with these, I wouldn't be surprised. Uh, people already experimented with this deck and mixed with voiceless voice. So if they made that work, they can definitely make it work for Necros. Okay, I'm rambling. Keep practicing and keep dueling.